Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I guess, a sort of triumphant return. It's kind of a meek return to L5R video podcast. I am the man driving on the sidewalk at the campus, Paul Ashman, and I am joined by internet voter enthusiast for the ultimate man, Jesse Grabowski. Hi, Jesse.
I'm following this competition with great interest. I already cast my vote, in fact.
Did you
Uh,
do it for Chuck Norris? Is Chuck Norris not the ultimate man? I read
he's
once that
not.
he was.
Yeah, no, so the Chuck Norris jokes came and went. No, this is something really cool because they're sort of pushing the definition. They're trying to really, over at Men's Health, like challenge people to think a little more critically about manhood. And they've got some transgender people in the mix. I thought that's really cool, and so I've been voting for that. And on my Twitter and on my Tumblr, I've been really encouraging people to do that too.
Vote every day as often as you can. Fill out those ballots Chicago style. Just keep jamming the vote, jamming the vote.
It's just this is a triumphant return though because so there's some changes here that maybe you guys notice. We were trying something out new with the layout. Paul sort of flipped around up there, and we can see his mouse cursor now. That's kind of a cool little
That's
difference.
right. You see me, watch me move, watch me dance.
Right, so hopefully the action will be a little bit easier to follow for everybody, and let us know what you think. His honor there in the corner is kind of cropped out. That's on purpose, so you can see the 20, which will eventually be whatever it's supposed to be.
4, yeah.
But there's just some Skypey stuff. I can't really do anything about that yet. But improvements will come. This is just ongoing coolness.
We're always fiddling with things behind the scenes, playing with our code. I'm learning how to use computers. It's really quite exciting.
That's right.
The sort of the I downgraded it from triumphant just based purely on the deck selection metric that we chose to use.
Right. There is
So
a
we're in
method to
the
our madness here.
right. We're in the throes of Kotai season, but I, vaunted Kotai champion of forgotten formats past, I sort of have a pretty good handle on what Ivory Arc is, and I think Jesse does too. We've played a lot. We've built a lot of decks. We have our Gauntlet, and we're going to play some more of those decks and talk about more of those decks. But it's led us into a space where we're just kind of like, I don't think that people are interested in or need to see, Mantis and Crane decks as we've constructed them. Those deck lists are out there. You can go to the forums. You can look at them. We're going to play some games with those in the future eventually. But we thought we would sort of just dive into the weeds here. We were talking about sort of the unexplored spaces of the format, things that we've looked at and sort of sniggered at and disregarded just completely. And we've decided that, like, well, what if we just run those decks into each other and sort of see how they work?
Well, really, what we're doing. So one thing is Paul, living in America and being active in the physical paper scene, is able to get feedback from you guys at different events. And one thing that we hear a lot from people is we want to see you play like this sensei, we want to see you play that sensei. And typically we stay away from these sensei because we try to do like hardcore spike testing and come to Enough Talk and you can win a Kotai. But it's screw that. What we're gonna do is try to go through as many of the more marginal sensei as we can, and just show like our first draft brew of like what would we do with this sensei. And
Yep.
so these, I make no claims. Like my deck here is just a disaster. I'm sure Paul
As in
probably
mine.
feels the same way. But the hope here is that A, the games will be fun, like and interesting for you guys, and B, you can sort of see what we did with the decks and take it and run with it. And if like you're a really big fan of Pokemon, or if you're a really big fan of like Ninja Dually stuff, for example, in this video or whatever we do in the next video, you can sort of integrate some of our first spitball ideas into yours and maybe improve your like just kicking around at the kitchen table kind of decks.
And there is some value to sort of, forcing yourself to build these other decks and sort of seeing. Sometimes you'll get different highlights. So one of the things that's interesting about this deck is I'm specifically looking at sort of trading grounds in concert with Deep Harbor to power School of Wizardry to buy, my 10 gold cost Shugenja. And that could be just awful. I mean, it could just be a monstrosity and none of it lines up. But maybe it does work out. It'll give me a chance to sort of evaluate some of these cards. And I've got some sort of, experiments here. I got a new factors on the Fate side. This is a card that I've never played before, that I've thought about playing, things like unrequited love, and then I've got some sort of standard fill out your honor deck cards like Seeking the Way and Black Supply Lines and Usurpation. But sort of evaluating these cards that you're kind of know that the overarching strategy probably isn't where you want to be. It's probably not quite as ruthless or straightforwardly efficient as other factions. That doesn't mean that there's not some incidental interactions that will be noteworthy that might be worth remembering about later.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a sort of invest now, pay dividends item, but also it's kind of fun to just sort of say, okay, let's give this a try. I mean, that at the end of the day, we play L5R for fun. It's meant to be fun, and we thought we could really get some mileage out of playing some of the unexplored strategies.
Well, one thing about exploring the card pool a little bit more deeply is that the card pool changes, and sometimes you can play a deck like playing a different deck strategy, like specifically saying I'm going to play this sensei and forcing yourself to look at what cards in the pool support that sensei allows you to look at these cards you wouldn't normally play and have them in the back of your mind when new sets come out. And say for example, this deck I'm running sort of this funny little chi death package. I've got like the Wounded in Battle Strikes the Earth, Spinning the Web, Unsanctioned Strikes up with Teirao and Sado and the Sensei with a couple duels. Like maybe that's all terrible. In fact, it's probably all terrible. But there might be some stuff that as I'm playing the deck, I think like, wow, like this card, like maybe Spinning the Web is like almost there.
Yep. And maybe Side Out plus Spinning the Web turns out to be an interaction that's actually powerful enough to shift into a normal Scorpion military deck independent of Goju plus Shapeshifter plus Terra, right? There's stuff like that. There might be little bits that work and little bits that don't work.
Yeah, I've been pulling out those little bits and just having things like, I'm thinking maybe not even something that's there now, but something that's like almost like you can feel like it's almost powerful enough. It's just missing some little piece. And then keeping your eyes open when new sets come out and like looking at cards and wondering, is that the piece I need? And if it is, then coming back to the deck and seeing, or coming back to the combo and seeing where can that fit. And so I guess with further ado, I'm just going to talk about my little deck here. This is Aurora Sensei. I picked it using my scientific method of alphabetical Sensei legality. Arani Sensei is actually first, but I thought that was a very interesting pick. So we're playing Aurora Sensei. It has, in my opinion, two important parts of the card. The first is the action, which I don't know how much mileage I'll get out. But the second is to reduce the honor loss from ninja cards by 2. And that's what pushed me into Komoro here, because I can ambush with no honor loss. I don't know how useful that is, but it does let me do this little combo with Ninja Shapeshifter and Teirao. So I can make a bunch of Teiraos and ambush you over and over again with Komoro and, in theory, kill all your guys. Which, I don't know. I mean, it's slow and dirtily, but Ninja Shapeshifter's a ninja. This is a ninja deck. Okay. Teirao kind of got in because I wanted some more chi reduction. The main thrust of the deck is going to be chi, interact with your chi. I've got Sado, Strike as the Earth, Wounded in Battle, Unsanctioned Strike, Spinning the Web. Just all of these, basically every card in the format legal that lets me say put out a -1/-1 chi or whatever. Sayago's a cheap ninja that has a duel on him. Mostly he's just cheap. Lonji, because he's totally nuts, so I can buy him in clan. So I can play a couple of these duels, like Do Not Delay, Unsanctioned Strike. I got Clash of Blades in here too. Just works with the Sensei. And I think that removing an ability isn't nothing. Kichi's Force and ability, and Sakura makes a duel. I don't know if she's good or not. I just wanted to try her out. On the gold, the only really remarkable thing here is that I'm trying out House of Floating Lotus. I think its time may have come with Building Contract, because if I buy 1/1, it sucks. You bought a 3 for 2 or whatever, but then you can Building Contract up another one, then it goes to a 4, and then maybe you can salvage the turn. So I don't know. I just wanted to give this a try with Building Contract, and you've got the Geisha houses to help power it. And the best case scenario, you're running 6 Sawana dojos, and that's a really good best case scenario, especially a deck that's playing here's a 10 gold guy, here's an 8 gold cuss guy, here's a 7 gold cuss guy, here's another 8 gold cuss guy. So this isn't a cheap deck. It's pretty gold hungry. It's gonna have a lot of trouble generating force, and that's the sort of thing that you need to be thinking about when you build your decks. That I have all this little combo-y stuff, and oh, this is so cool and awesome, but this is 10 gold for 2 force. This is 8 gold for 3 force, and at the end of the day, you come up against even a dirtily low honor deck like this, I'm going to be having trouble because he's going to be buying a 3 PH guy, and then I'm going to be buying 2/4s for 8 gold, and that's not going to get a province.
Well, the good news is my chi is very, very low on all of my guys mostly. Of course, they also make guys, so I suppose I've got that going for me. I actually, Goju Kimura with Teirao is in every spider deck, I think, pretty much straightforward. Some people go deeper with Disappearing World styles, long-term fruitions with water. You started to see a little bit of Terui Shapeshifter Kimura decks. I've actually done it out of faction in a couple of different places, because if you build a Kill All the Guys engine, I will explore it. And I think it's a real subset of cards, and I actually have a deck that I quite like that I might actually even take to a Kotai that features it. But it's a little bit laborious. I mean, it takes time to get it all sort of lined up, and it's a plus B plus C kind of combo, and it can get shut down by any number of little things for a turn. So it's good but not great, and I think that's where you sort of want your recursive kill engines to be. So, I'm pretty happy to see that represented over there. On my end, I just have Kitsune cards. I got Moshi Akako because she's a 3PH Shugenja, and then I just have every Kitsune that I could conceivably convince myself to play. I'm really worried about my Honor Rex. I've got, I think, 6 guys above starting Honor, which is, 6 more than I'd like to play. And I don't know if there's any good cohesion between the animals yet. It's a little awkward. This one makes an elephant that makes a fear 3, and this one makes a fear 4. So, that's fear. But then I come over here and I've got a melee 2, which isn't a fear effect at all. And then this guy just makes me a resilient guy. So I'm still trying to figure out how they all work, and maybe I'm not leveraging the Sensei enough. But like I said, it's a 100% first draft. Got some 2-offs on my action sweep, but there's nothing I don't think that's really surprising. Pure Intents and Seeking the Ways and Usurpations and Show Me Your Stance. I guess Show Me Your Stance is a surprise because you're not a dually kind of deck, but everybody's 3PH, and I've got Unrequited and Sacrifice to try to get Selfless Politics, to try to get some Dishonored guys on the other end to set up my Show Me Your Stances, because my PH is in fact terrible. You're playing a dueling deck, but I'm going to be up by 3 maybe, so we'll see. And then Block Supply Lines, Banishing Breath, these kinds of cards. So this is a deck that runs Long-Term Fruition and some rings. It's got a progressive Samurai Cast Divides, and I'm going to just try to defend my provinces. And the one thing this box gets to do is once I get my gold developed, I'll be drawing 2 cards a turn, maybe 3 if I get Void out. And that's a centerpiece of a really strong honor deck, right? The ability to just defend play a bunch of fate cards, draw a bunch of fate cards, stay alive, and cross, I think is sort of an engine that is worth exploring for an honor deck. So I'm not completely down on the idea, but I'm really curious to see if I get any value out of these guys who make 2 guys. Maybe I should have versatile tactics and pack tactics, and I'm versatile army, maybe more Bowie effects. I'm not leveraging the Earth trade on all my Shugenja, so there's even some design space unexplored in my first build here, but that'll come.
All right, let's see what happens.